Hello, everybody. Before I go to bed, I wanted to share some thoughts with you. And I wanted to blow out of the water a bit of a myth around being a spiritual, intuitive person, and how, by understanding how being organized is actually important in manifesting your own spiritual guidance in this reality is really important. So I've actually taken quite a few notes here. Now, being a professional writer, I have learnt that, writing things out first is a very good idea. So that's what I've done. So I'm just going to be sort of looking at that. Now, I am a very organized person. I always have been. I think even from a very young age, I was very organized, and this is very annoying to many people. And it's also something that I've copped quite a bit of flack for, being someone who does readings and helping people spiritually on their path, because it's kind of like, well, you do readings and you are supposed to be listening to your guidance and your intuition. And so what has that got to do with being organized? It's sort of people expecting that, you receive guidance and you listen to your intuition and your feelings and all of that. And then suddenly you just make it happen, and you don't organize anything. You just sort of live in the moment. And this is actually the opposite to mindful living. So with mindful living, yes, we are trying to be calm and relaxed and aligned where we are so that we can pick up on that guidance and that intuition, and we can let that flow through our actions so that things do flow in an aligned, lovely, guided way. But, we are also human beings, and we have this body, and we are in this physical reality, and that actually comes with some requirements and needs of its own. And being organized is a part of that. Okay, so when we are organized, we are actually choosing to follow through on the guidance and the intuition that we have previously received. So I may have a feeling to make this video for you and to share this information for you, and this was a guided thing, and this was something that I intuitively felt needed to be done. Now, if I hadn't have spent quite some time sitting down and writing everything out and going through it, I wouldn't actually be here making this video. I mean, I may have just read my book or gone to sleep or something, and that attitude of like, oh, look, I've had this feeling and I've had this guidance, and spirit will make it happen, and all I've got to do is just sit back and allow it to happen, isn't actually very true at all. So, if we want to have something in our lives happen, we actually need to take some responsibility, and we need to take some belief in ourselves, and we need to take a step of faith in ourselves, in our own actions, to make that happen. This is very different from forcing our will. But this is not about forcing your will. This is listening to guidance, intuition, and feeling, and allowing for this to happen through taking conscious, intended action. So when you hear some guidance, you have a feeling within yourself, whatnot, you have that, you think, great, I've got this, now what do I do with it? How do I make this manifest? So you've been given the seed, but you need to plant the seed in order for the plant to grow so that you can then harvest the produce, the fruit of your labor. And that's where the guidance comes into it, that it'll provide you with the right seed. And if your guidance is good enough, this is obviously not to do with you being good enough. It's whether you can hear your guidance clearly enough and you can act on it well enough. You'll also be shown and told how to care for that seed and the fruit that you need to have at the end that will come from this seed. So the seed is the intuition and the guidance and the feeling, and then your organization and action is going to plant that seed, and it's going to care for that seed. It's going to water the seed. It's going to feed the seed. It's going to protect the seed, and the seed is then going to grow. So what you felt as an intuition and a guidance will eventually turn into this beautiful plant, this beautiful thing that you want to grow, but it is going to take some action on your part. And this is where being organized really comes into it. So if we are organized, we are creating a space to make things happen, and we're actually choosing the space. So rather than sort of, rushing around and, just leaving it all up to the fates and the whatevers, and whatever is going on, it'll just come true. It'll happen. Everything happens for a reason and all this kind of thing. And we don't have any organization around that. We all our time, all our energy, and all our space is taken up with all of these things happening. But when we choose to have some organization in our lives, what we're doing is we're carving out and we're creating a space for where we want to take that seed, that intuition, that guidance, that feeling, and we want to plant that seed in the space that we've created. So by being organized, you are then creating that space. So you have your guidance, your intuition. That may come through a dream, it may come through a feeling, it may come through something in a meditation, it may come through something that somebody says. Remember that spirit works and speaks through everything, because everything is actually spirit. So we listen to everything. It can come from anywhere. So you're getting that seed. You've created that space by being organized. And now you've planted that seed. And now you will listen to your guidance and your intuition and your feelings once again to know how to care for that seed so that it can grow into what it needs to grow into. Now, there are several things that can often prevent us from, first of all, hearing that guidance, which then we can then prepare that space for by being organized. So two things that I've come across quite commonly generically is that we wonder, is what I'm hearing actually guidance? Is what I'm hearing actually guidance and feeling and intuition? Or is it just simply my ego voice or my desire or a past hurt or a past fear? How do I know that that is truly guidance? So if we're unsure of that, we may be less inclined to act on it, because we then worry, well, if I act on this guidance and I plant that seed into that organized space, what if the fruit is wrong? What if it wasn't the right thing to do? So being unsure as to whether that's guidance that we're hearing is the first thing. And the second thing is feeling that we aren't capable enough, we don't have the right skill set, we don't have the right time, we don't have the right resources in order to plant that seed in that organized space to make it happen. So sort of thinking, God, I can't look after the garden, so I won't plant the seed in the first place. Far be it for me to plant that seed. So I'll just wait and see what grows in the space. Okay, so as someone who's a very organized person, and obviously someone who's strongly led by my intuition, I can tell you this is not the way to go. I can tell you that I can 100% tell you that this is false, fake fear. And we do this in order to protect ourselves. So it's not a bad thing, but we do it to protect ourselves. There is nothing wrong, and in fact, there is everything right with you deciding the space that you are going to carve out for the organization that you're going to have so that you can plant that seed. In fact, as a human being, it is 100% your right, and it is the right thing for you to do, just the same way that dogs will bark and the moon reflects the sun. You have a natural God-given right. It is a part of your human expression to be organized enough to decide what you want and how that will grow. Okay, so you're going to get that intuition or that guidance, and you're going to create the right space, and that's about being organized so that that can grow. The thing is that when you get that intuition and guidance, that it's actually intuition and guidance, it's just not you just forcing your will. But that is another kettle of fish. Okay, so this is some very generic information for you, and I hope and I'm sure that it will be helpful for you. If you would like to have an appointment with me one-on-one, that would be fabulous. I would love to do that. I work online, so we can either have a consultation via Zoom or we can do it by email. And in regards to this issue as to looking at organization, if that's something that you need to explore in your life, I will look at it and I will say, well, hey, why are you not being organized about creating the space for that seed to grow? What's holding you back from being organized to create that space for that seed to grow? And what is holding you back? What can you do about it? How can we remove that block so that you can be organized enough to have that space for that seed to grow? If you did want to work with me one-on-one, just go to my website for some more information. That's nalapakana.com.au, or send me an email, leave a message here. So very much love to you. Please know that it's very good to be organized. Don't you worry about this airy fairy business. I'll just leave it up to spirit and all the rest of it. No, you are an organized, amazing, empowered person. So you take that guidance, you take that intuition, you go, right, I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to put that into this organized space, and I am going to watch this beautiful thing grow, and I'm going to reap the fruits. Have a really lovely night. I'm off to bed now. Good night, and God bless from me.